Hey guys, Aaron Pico versus Lerone Murphy happens this weekend at UFC 319. And I'm just coming here to say I fully believe Lerone Murphy is going to win this by decision. Aaron Pico is a really, really, really good fighter. I've been watching him fight for years. And the biggest thing that comes into this fight is pressure. Lerone Murphy has no real pressure into this fight. Yeah, he's risking his top 10 ranking. Yeah, he's risking his undefeated record, his UFC win streak, but he's the guy who's stepping up. Aaron Pico is supposed to be matched up with Mazar Evloev. Now they're giving him someone who everyone's going to see as a lesser opponent. So it's not really weighing on him that much. But when I talk about pressure, I literally just mean career expectations. No one expects anything from Lerone Murphy's career. And I'm going to tell you this, if Aaron Pico doesn't go down as a UFC Hall of Famer, his career is a fucking bust and he's been a waste. And it's really harsh to say something like that. But when you look at Aaron Pico's career and I give a little more context, you'll understand why. And then I'll go more into the technical reasons why I think Lerone Murphy's going to win. Number one, Aaron Pico got signed at 17 years old. He dropped out of high school and got signed like the NBA signs great talents coming out of high school. He got signed by Bellator for millions of dollars. They threw millions of dollars in his face. This is a guy who was told that the MMA world was his. He was an Olympic alternate for the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics in wrestling. He's a nationally ranked he was a nationally ranked amateur boxer who won the Golden Gloves, I think multiple times over. And all of this, he's a high-level boxer, absurdly high-level wrestler. One of the very few people to actually win international competition while being a teenager, not even old enough to vote in this country, and he's beating and representing the country, and he's beating people who are in their 20s and early 30s. It made no sense. This dude was immensely talented. And then he takes 3 years to train, to fully focus on MMA. And Bellator spent millions of dollars on him. He got a fucking endorsement with Nike. Nike! There's only 3 MMA fighters in the history of the sport who have been endorsed by Nike. It's Anderson Silva, John Jones, and Aaron Pico. This is the level of hype I'm talking about. He goes into his debut and gets flatline KO'd by a fucking jobber in like a minute. He gets fed cans for the next couple years of his career. The whole narrative was, that first one was a fluke. Aaron Pico's here. There's no way that's going to happen again. He has some experience. And then he fights Henry Corrales, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, his next fight after going on a 4-fight knockout streak was against Henry Corrales. Now, Henry Corrales is a really, really, really good fighter. I'm not going to discredit losing to Henry Corrales. Yeah, it was Henry Corrales. I'm not going to discredit losing to Henry Corrales, but it's how he lost to Henry Corrales. It was so amateur. He was still young, and it's why I think part of the reason why I think Lerone Murphy's still a little too much too soon. Granted, this was 5.5 years ago when he fought Corrales, or 6.5 years ago, I meant to say, when he fought Corrales, but still, he wobbles Corrales with a beautiful short uppercut, and then just kind of weighs forward with his hands down. Corrales immediately recovers and just flatlines him out cold. He's out cold again. He comes back like 6 months later, fights Adam Borks. Adam Borks isn't a bad loss. Adam Borks is what I thought Giga Chikadze would be. Adam Borks is really one of the top dogs at Bellator. And the first round, Pico is controlling him with his wrestling because he's so afraid of striking because he just got KO'd again that he just wants to use his wrestling in this fight. He uses his wrestling to win round 1, tries that shit in round 2, gets flying kneed out cold. Again, lack of experience. Still, I get it. 6 years ago, he's changed. He's won a lot since then. But though Corrales and Borks are like the best of the best at Bellator. Borks was like a top 5 featherweight at Bellator for a few years. Henry Corrales was coming fresh off a title challenge, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, when he had fought Aaron Pico, he was on a 4-fight win streak after losing to Patricio Pitbull for a title. He was building his way back up to a title and ended up beating Aaron Pico by KO, which got him a shot at Darian Caldwell, who again, one of the best fighters outside the UFC. But still, let's really go back and look at it. At that point in time, Henry Corrales isn't a horrible win, isn't a horrible loss to have on your record. But it's the way that Pico lost that makes me less cringe. And then Pico's latest fight was against Henry Corrales in a rematch for a PFL card. And he won technically. Like he definitely did win by KO in round 1. But it was like a TKO as he batters the withered corpse of Henry Corrales, who used to be really fucking good. You know, like, I'm not giving you brownie points for stopping, like, for TKOing. It wasn't even a real KO. It was more, he just kind of shelled up and took it. I'm not giving you brownie points for stopping a 38-year-old man. You don't deserve anything for... You don't deserve any level of credit for beating Henry Corrales. None. So I look at the other people he's fought, and like he has good wins, but a lot of these dudes are straight fucking like Uber drivers. Like I guess Adley Edwards is a pretty good win. He was a decent prospect, only had 1 loss in his career, and was winning a lot of his fights by finish, but he was a regional prospect stepping up to world-class competition for the first time, and it's ranked Aaron Pico, who smokes him out cold. You know? Like this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. Aaron Pico is such a padded record. Justin Gonzalez, that's not a great win. I mean, at the time Pico beat him, he was an undefeated guy, but that was his second fight in Bellator. Again, oh, I'm an undefeated guy. I get 1 win in Bellator. Here's ranked Aaron Pico. I'm not saying that Pico's a can crusher. I'm just saying that Pico was put into positions with very, very favorable matchups against relatively inexperienced people at a high level. So in long, I'm calling him a can crusher. And I don't think Lerone Murphy is a can crusher like that, man. Like, Aaron Pico has a lot of talent. He's really, really good. But there's parts of Pico's game that makes me, like, wince. His leg kick defense is questionable. His ability in transitions when it comes to really mixing together martial arts is very questionable. He'll get takedowns, but he doesn't always quite advance to dominant positions in jiu-jitsu. He has a couple submissions on his record, but he doesn't really go for them as much as I think he should. Somebody with his level of wrestling should be a submission ace. Not really his thing. And he's KOing people on the feet. Brutal KOs. Nasty, nasty power. But that lead leg, he's heavy on it, and he don't be checking much of shit. I'm watching a guy who doesn't... There's this little in-between period between his boxing and his wrestling where I feel he can be exposed. On top of, I feel he can be outranged. Granted, it's going to be hard to do because he's a very aggressive fighter. But I think he's gonna be too aggressive, and I don't think he's gonna get KO'd, but he's gonna get picked apart. His cage cutting is questionable. Like all of this all of that, right? And then he has to go fight fucking Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy. Like people give Lerone Murphy shit because Lerone Murphy is not the most exciting guy. The UFC keeps pushing him as a prospect when he's fucking 35. But like, he's beat Gabriel Santos. Found out that's a really, really good win. He's beat Douglas Silva de Andrade. He's beat Ricardo Hama. Like, this guy's beat all the really good people who I think would give Aaron Pico trouble. At that point in his career, Ricardo Ramos would have absolutely destroyed Aaron Pico. And we see Lerone Murphy smoking him out cold. Mirkani would have a really, really fun back and forth that I don't know if Pico would beat. Gabriel Santos would straight sub Aaron Pico, and I'll stand on that hill right now. Joshua Kalibau is a really good underrated win. Edson Barboza, and he beats Edson Barboza not by out wrestling him, by out striking him for 5 rounds. Dan Ige, I don't know if Pico beats Dan Ige. Maybe he does, because Ige randomly fell out of his prime when he had to fight Pitbull. And then Josh Emmett, clear win. He knows how to stay safe for 5 rounds while dealing with it. I don't see a world where... I'm not going to say I don't see a world, but I just don't see Aaron Pico dealing with this. It's too much, too soon. Lerone Murphy's going to stick, he's going to move, he's going to chew away at his lead calf. Pico's not going to be able to draw on too much power as the fight goes on. Not because he has horrible cardio or anything, but because he's not going to be able to plant to get the power that he wants. He's super explosive. That's when he's able to plant. And when he's not able to plant because he can't walk forward, it's going to be a different story. And I do think Aaron Pico will have a lot of success early, but I don't think it's going to be that much as the fight goes on. Like, I think he might drop Lerone Murphy. I think he probably will rock Lerone Murphy early, but I don't see him finishing up. He's not a, oh, I hurt you, let me finish up with punches kind of guy. I threw a perfect punch, now you're completely out cold, and let me emote on you. And that shit doesn't work at the top level of UFC. These guys aren't super inexperienced. These guys aren't can crushers. These guys have had to fight the best of the best for years just to get the right to get ranked. And Aaron Pico isn't the best of the best. Do I think Aaron Pico is a ranked level featherweight? Absolutely. Top 10? I think he needs more experience. And it just throw him off the deep end and give him Movzar and Lerone Murphy. Originally Movzar, but now Lerone Murphy. I don't know, man. Like, this is a little too much too soon. And I still think he needs to fully put everything together, which he'll understand once he fights someone who is like a Giga Chikadze. If he fought a Giga Chikadze, it would be a completely different story. I think Pico beats some of the guys who are lower ranked, like David Onama and Patricio Pitbull, Steve Garcia, potential. No, he doesn't beat Steve Garcia. He does not beat Steve Garcia, and that's the problem. You know, all this hype just to be like, oh yeah, Steve Garcia would probably beat you. All these millions of dollars invested into this guy's career, all the glaze he's gotten for years and years and years, no one really holds him accountable for any setback he sees in his entire career. And he's not the best of the best. Every single time he fights a guy in Bellator who is the best of the best, he gets fucking fraud checked again and again and again. I do not believe for a second he's going to go out there and beat Lerone Murphy. I think Lerone Murphy is great money by decision as a dog. I think he's going to clearly as day outstrike him. I think the takedowns that Aaron Pico goes for might, funnily enough, be beaten with the Leon Edwards style takedown defense of 2-on-1 wrist control. and just stopping him from connecting his hands, and then he'll never get takedowns. He's gonna get blasted with knees in the clinch. He's gonna get fucked up at range. I think Lerone Murphy is so underrated and is so overlooked in this fight. It makes no sense. Lerone Murphy's looked nothing but amazing. Not amazing, but looked really good for most of his career. He fights to the level of his competition. And compared to everyone else at featherweight, this dude has a solid resume. Like, if Lerone Murphy becomes champ, I won't even be mad just because of how solid Lerone Murphy's resume is, because of how tough a schedule this guy's had. You know, this dude had to fight Ricardo Ramos, fucking Douglas Silva de Andrade, Marquand Americani, Gabriel Santos, Joshua Kalibau, Edson Barboza, Dan Ige, and Josh Emmett back to back to back to back to back. And does he ever bitch and complain about it? No, he just goes out and wins. And it's normally by decision, but still, like, it's different. I really believe Lerone Murphy's gonna put on a clinic. He fights to the level of his competition and shows you that he's just better than whoever he's fighting. And I think that's not going to be good for Aaron Pico, who's not quite used to fighting in competitive fights. He's normally used to be given guys who are lacking experience against good people, who are lacking experience against the best in the world, who he can expose with his insane talent. I don't think Aaron Pico's the best right now, which is a shame. Because if he doesn't go down as a Hall of Famer, he is a bust. He is a waste of a career. A waste of money. All these people have thrown millions of dollars into him expecting him to be something. And you just can't do that in MMA. You just gotta sit to see how all the dominoes fall. But hey, that's just me. That's just what I think. We'll find out Saturday night.